everyone. I am Lourdes Delgado, today hosting for Carmen Nieves. Welcome to Connecticut at your service. And today we have a very special guest whom I've only met for a couple of years, and I'm really excited to share him with you. So, welcome, Nick Martinez.
Hi, Lourdes. Thank you so much for having me.
Nick, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I am originally from South Florida, but I've lived in Connecticut for a very long time. I went to high school out here, and I came to my current position. I'm the director of the Thomas Merton Family Center here in Bridgeport about 2 years ago. I didn't have this position at first. I originally ran our food pantry, and yeah, I love what I do.
So now you just said that you originally ran the food pantry at
That's
Thomas Merton Center.
Yeah.
And now you are the director.
Yes.
I have to tell you, when years ago, when I knew about the Thomas Merton Center, all I knew was that you fed the homeless.
And we still do that.
But now it seems that you've expanded because you're no longer called the Thomas Merton Center. Now you are the
Thomas Merton Family Center. That's right.
So tell us a little bit about why it is now called a family center.
Absolutely. So, I think it's helpful if I just first kind of give you some background on who we are and where we come from. So the Thomas Merton Family Center was founded 51 years ago as the Thomas Merton House by a prayer group at Sacred Heart University. So it was undergraduate students working with this priest at Sacred Heart named Father Giuliani. And their initial mission was they had a van, they would go around Bridgeport and they would find people out in the street and they would give them usually just, soup and coffee or sandwiches, right? Well, over the years that grew. They came to inhabit a couple different locations across the city of Bridgeport, and they first started a meals program. So just having a space for people to come shelter during the day and then to receive breakfast and lunch. Eventually they opened a food pantry, kind of like a grocery store for people to come and receive free food from. And a couple years ago, our parent agency, Catholic Charities of Fairfield County, decided to move us to this new model, this family center model. And the idea is that this allows us to be kind of a one-stop shop for your social services needs, right? Mm-hmm. So we still do feeding the homeless and feeding the hungry among us. That's still the core foundation of what we do. But we now have a number of other services that we offer to our community. These are things like legal immigration aid, case management services, and we're very fortunate to have a medical clinic staffed by Southwest Community Health as well. So the idea is that when you come in through our doors, right, whatever it is that brings you to us, we're gonna find out how we can help you get to a place of greater stability in your life and be company to you as you go there.
So you're not just feeding them a one-shot deal.
Right.
You're providing more services. Now, could you elaborate a little bit? You mentioned about the legal services. What does that encompass?
For sure. So we have legal immigration services, and these are primarily focused on family reunification. So these are people who are in the United States who are soliciting their relatives from outside of the States to be able to come here, or we also help people who are on the path to citizenship. With everything that has to do with that path. But in addition to that, and given the current political climate, we do a lot of just advising people on what the best way to move forward for them is in their situation, right? So we serve a lot of undocumented folks. We serve a lot of folks in different immigration statuses, and we hold, thanks, and we help them figure out what the best way is to either normalize their status or help their family stay in the country legally. And it's really important, especially because there's a lot of misinformation in our communities about the best ways to approach your legal immigration problems, right? There's a lot of people who unfortunately take advantage of our immigrant communities and might charge them a bunch of money for services that they don't really provide and things of that nature. So that's really what we do there.
So now, as the audience can see here on the slides, these are the services that are provided at the Thomas Merton Family Center. These services are completely free.
That's right.
They do provide services in Spanish for those who need it. and of course, obviously English. But I am curious about the mail program. What is a mail program?
Yeah, so our mail program is, for a lot of our unhoused community members, one of the biggest obstacles to them either accessing other social services or getting on the path to housing is that they have no way to receive mail. If you're dependent on, say, Social Security checks, and you have nowhere to receive those checks, that's a problem. So we allow people in our community who don't have other mailing addresses or who have unstable housing to use our address as their mailing address. So they sign up with us and they receive their mail there, and we hold on to it, we keep it safe, and when they come by, we distribute it to them.
The audience could clearly see, based on the slide that we just shared, that there are lots of services. I'm wondering how many of the viewers today were actually aware of that as a component, the mail issue. So also, can you elaborate on the case management?
Yeah, so the case management is, of course, food, insecurity. The things that we do to address food insecurity are the bedrock of everything that we do, and it's our oldest service. But I think the heart and soul, and really the engine that drives everything that we do, is our case management. And what that really is when somebody comes through our doors, we get to know them, right? We make a concerted effort to know their name, to know where they come from, to know what it is that brought them through our doors. And our case managers, what they do is they sit with folks and they try to find out what is the stress point, what is the crisis that brought you to the Thomas Merton Family Center, that brought you to social services. And once we know what that is, then they work with folks to make a plan for, how can we address some of these basic needs. And luckily, because we offer a lot of services in our center and in our greater agency in the county, we can address a lot of them internally, but there's a lot that, we can't. So we have partners throughout Bridgeport and the greater Bridgeport community that we can that we can direct people to, or that we can work with to help people get, their housing, benefits, et cetera, needs met.
One thing that I learned when I began my involvement with the Thomas Merton Family Center is that those who participate are called guests.
That's right.
They're called guests. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so, we are fundamentally a community organization. I mean, the heart and soul of everything that we do is that we are a community. So we're really about having a place where folks, and we work with the most marginalized among us, right? So we're really about having a place where people feel at home. And as part of that, we don't look at you as a client, right? We don't look at you as a number on a spreadsheet. We look at you as a human being. We're here to affirm your dignity, to get to know you, and to have you know that whenever you walk through our doors, you're a part of us, right? We don't see a distinction between our staff and our volunteers and our clients, our guests, right? We see us as one family, one community that's all pulling in the same direction.
How many people did the center feed last month, approximately?
A lot. So last month was a crazy month, right? Because the first week of the month we had the government shutdown, so people didn't receive their SNAP benefits, and then we had Thanksgiving. So in our dining hall, between breakfast and lunch, we served almost 9,000 meals, and in our food pantry, we served, I want to say the number is a little bit over 3,000 individuals.
So 9,000 meals. That's a lot of meals.
It is.
How are you able to manage to get all that food?
Yeah, so we do purchase a good amount of it from Connecticut Food Share, which is a subsidiary program of the federal Feeding America program, which, by the way, had $1 billion cut from their budget a few months ago by the federal government. But we are very fortunate to, one, get a lot of it from the community. So people do food drives for us, or they'll periodically just go to the store and bring us stuff. And we're really, really fortunate to have grocer partners in Bridgeport and throughout the region. So we're really lucky that we have a couple of big Ys in the region that give us their excess produce and dry goods and stuff like that. We have partnerships with Costco. We have partnerships with the Wegmans all the way down in Norwalk. We have partnerships now, a new one with Gala Foods here in Bridgeport. So we get a lot of stuff from those partners, and occasionally restaurants will give us stuff as well. So we're really fortunate to count on this greater community food providers that help us get food as well, in addition to what we have to purchase.
So you're basically supported by the community. It's for the community, supported by the local community.
100%, we are of and for the community. It's good, to mention with our funding, right? A lot of folks think that we must be funded by the state, or that the Catholic Church itself must fund us, and that's actually not the case. We do not receive any state, federal, or local funding, outside of maybe some grants that are one-offs here or there. And we receive some money from the Catholic Church, but that's not the majority of our money, right? So really the majority of our funding comes from the community. It comes from individuals in Bridgeport and in the greater Bridgeport community, and it comes from institutions, businesses, and other partners that believe in this mission and fundamentally believe in the community and want to support it. So I really see us as a conduit for this desire that people have to help those around them. We are an outlet for the community to help the community.
That's wonderful. And I want to make sure that the audience understands this. This is a program that is feeding, but not only feeding, it's providing services to the community, and it is generated from the community. So every time you go and shop in some of the stores that he mentioned, you mentioned what, Big Y, Costco, Gala. When you go shop in those businesses, you're actually supporting us indirectly, because if they're not in existence, they wouldn't be able to help us. However, I think it's really important to note that there are opportunities for the audience to volunteer.
Yeah.
So could you talk a little bit about that?
So listen, like a lot of nonprofits, we have a pretty small staff, and we are extremely reliant on volunteers. We have a rotating cast of over 600 volunteers that over the course of the year come and either serve meals, prepare meals, work in our food pantry, help us clean the grounds, assist with certain things with our legal services department, all types of stuff, right? And so that's really the biggest thing for us is our volunteers. Without our volunteers, we simply could not exist and serve people at the volume at which we serve people. So we have tons of opportunities for people to get involved in it, and I'm always looking to get more people involved with us. And maybe there's something that you might do that isn't in our current offerings. And I always tell folks, come to me with those ideas, right? Because there's so many different ways that we can serve this community, and I don't think we have the monopoly on the ideas or on the best ways to do that right now. So really, I look at us and our volunteer opportunities as a place for people to bring their creativity and to bring their passion for serving those around them and finding an outlet for it, like I said before.
So you're willing to listen to the community,
100%.
come in and say, yeah, you know what, I have this expertise, Nick.
Yeah.
How can I use my expertise to service the community? And that's wonderful, because there are a lot of creative people out there. I was just wondering if when you provide the programs just for the English, the learning English, okay, how, do you have volunteers? Do you pay staff? How does that work?
Yeah, so, ESL, English as a Second Language, is something we've been wanting to bring into our program for a long time, and it was a really big thrust of the Family Center initiative. About half of our regular dining hall day shelter population is from Latin America, and another large portion is from other parts of the Caribbean and other parts of the world. So we have a substantial and robust immigrant community, for a lot of whom English is not their first language. So we don't provide ESL classes ourselves. We have other wonderful partners in the city like Mercy Learning Center and Caroline House who do that. But what we offer is, what we're starting to offer starting in January, is conversation classes, and those are going to be run by volunteers. So staff are not running those. Because I have a particular passion for that, am going to participate. But no, it really is going to be volunteers once or twice a week in a room with folks, providing a low stakes, judgment-free place to just practice what you might be learning in your ESL classes, or what you might be learning at your job or whatever, so you can feel more comfortable. But it's really not just about the language. I mean, it is certainly about that. That's very important, but it's also about providing another community opportunity for people. Because remember, you and I both are very involved in the immigrant community, so we know this. I'm sure a lot of our audience knows that immigrants tend to be very marginalized not just because of language, but also because they don't know anybody. You come here and maybe you might have some family, but not much, right? So by providing this conversation class, it's a chance for you to meet other people who might be able to relate to your experiences and build some community and some support to help you, make your way here.
Okay. Can we see the slide again that shows all the different services that you provide? I'm curious to make sure that we covered all of them. I know, did you say anything about the shower program?
I have not mentioned the showers.
Okay.
I always forget to talk about the showers, even though it's one of the most important things we do. So twice a week, we offer showers to our community in our day shelter and dining hall. And that's extremely important. Look, the foundation of everything that we do, kind of what guides it, is our belief that every human being has inalienable, inherent dignity. Right? We exist to affirm the basic dignity of everybody that comes through our doors. And for a lot of our unhoused or kind of in between housing situations in the community, it's really hard for them to have access to showers. And if you're somebody who showers on a regular basis, which I am, you know that you don't feel like yourself if you're not clean. And it's really hard to get the rest of your life on track if you can't just have clean clothes and clean your body. So we offer a hot shower to people twice a week, and we offer them once they shower, with toiletries, undergarments. When we have it, we give them some other clothes as well, because people tend to, if you shower, but then you go out of the shower and you put on the same clothes.
You want to wear clean clothes, yes.
That's no good, right? So, and that's really important for folks who are trying to either, find work or things of that nature, right? Because you don't want to go to a job interview wearing the clothes you've been wearing for 5 consecutive days, right? So it's a really integral thing and really important part of our mission, that shower program.
That is wonderful. And I think it's really important for the audience to know that there are many ways that you can contribute that are not financial.
Absolutely.
That you can contribute your time, and you gave us some examples. And I'm thinking so often during the holidays, you get gifts that you really don't need or want, right? Or you can't use. And this is such a great opportunity to say, you know what, let me regift this, let me take this. I'm not gonna use this, let me donate it to the center. We have opportunities to come in and volunteer your time. Sometimes I speak to people and I can tell they're clearly bored at home. There's no reason for you to be bored at home.
No.
Go and help someone. Yeah. Go talk, even if they just go and talk, spark up a conversation with some of the guests, because there are guests. That can make such a big difference.
Absolutely. Listen, one thing I always tell people is, I can sit here and tell you all the wonderful things that we do and how you should come cook meals and all that, but the really thing that I want people to do is come be a part of our community. Mm-hmm. Come be flesh to flesh with your brothers and sisters and your neighbors, who you might see around but don't ever talk to. That's the most fundamental thing that I think people get. And what I've noticed is exactly what you said, right? People will say, oh, I'm lonely at home, or I'm bored at home, or I'm retired, and I don't go out much, whatever, and all that. And I say, come here, because you're going to get as much out of it, or more, honestly, than what you give. Because you're making human connections, and you're part of something bigger than yourself. We're really fortunate that we have volunteers that come back, day after day or week after week. But the reason why they do it is because they're in love with the community, right? And I really think that that's the biggest pitch on, come be a part of this, is you're going to be part of something warm, a family environment. You're going to be part of really a home for people. Yes. So it's not just money. I mean, money's great. I'll take all the money in the world, because
Right.
God knows that people need it, right? But really, your time is the most valuable thing that you have to give. And even like you said, right, just sitting down with somebody in our day shelter, or sitting with somebody in our pantry, or somebody going to use our immigration services, and getting to know them and know their name and know where they come from and know about the family and share that about yourself, that makes all the difference in the world. That's the fundamental thing.
Yes. I know that several times I've actually participated in a couple of tours of the center, and I invited a couple of my friends to come along and other guests, because you need to see it, maybe to believe it. Yeah. You need to be aware, and I know that you welcome. So I honestly, I think it's really important that you stop by and visit. We have some visits starting January 7th, January 7th at 9:30 in the morning. And if you would like to participate that, please call. Who should they call?
They can call me. My number is here on the screen. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's not my number.
Yeah. Well, that's a live call-in number.
That's a live call-in number.
The audience is welcome to call in live. Call in. If you have any questions for Nick, by all means, ask. But now give us the number.
Yeah, so you know what? Forgive me, I don't know my cell phone number off the top of my head, my work number. But if you just Google Thomas Martin Family Center, if you email me, my email is nmartinez@ccfc-ct.org, which was on the screen earlier. You can reach out to me directly, or you can look up our number and call the office line and ask for me and say you're interested in a tour. And I'd be happy to, on one of those Wednesdays like Lourdes was talking about, or on any other day. I'm always happy to have new people come and get a taste of our community and of what we're doing, because I really feel like once you see it, you'll fall in love with it.
This is a great opportunity for many of the local community to get involved.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer that you should give back to the community that gave you. And I think that if you take up this opportunity, the community in Bridgeport, Fairfield, Stratford, as they already have done, but there's still much more need. Yeah. And it is very gratifying to give of yourself, because like you said, in turn, you're the one that's growing. So I would like to encourage the audience, by the way, again, remind you, you're welcome to call in, 203-345-0103, if you have a question for Nick. And if we can get the slide that shows Nick's telephone number and the Thomas Merton Center information, so that you know also where you can contact. There's a Thomas Merton Family Center. It's on 1406 State Street in Bridgeport. If you're familiar with Bridgeport, it's right across the street to Shav's Bakery, which is adjacent to Cesar Batalla Elementary School. You drive down State Street, you cannot miss it, and you will see for yourself what Nick is talking about, what he is so passionate about. As a matter of fact, I happen to be on the advisory council of the Thomas Merton Family Center, so obviously I'm also passionate about it, otherwise I wouldn't be volunteering my time. But it's really, really important that we work together.
Absolutely. Listen, the need is greater than it's been in a very, very long time, right? Anybody who goes to the grocery store knows that everything is really, really expensive right now. Yes. Gas is very expensive. Obviously, here in Fairfield County, rent is absurd. So people are stretched really thin. And there's this idea, it's worth mentioning, that we only serve folks who are unhoused, right? But that's actually not the case. A lot of our community are families where you might have two parents that are working multiple jobs, and even with that, you can't make ends meet, so you have to rely on additional services. So the need is tremendous, and unfortunately, I think it's growing. Mm-hmm. And so we need all the help that we can get. We're very, very, very blessed to have people like Lourdes that will give of themselves and give of their time for nothing in return. By the way, I don't pay her.
Now tell us about mental health.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we are very fortunate to have as one of our partners in the building Southwest Community Health, and they offer as one of their services behavioral health. And that's really, really, really important, especially for the community in our day shelter, some of these chronically unhoused folks, because for a lot of them, they come from these very difficult traumatic backgrounds, and one of the big impediments for a lot of folks to getting on a more stable track, to getting maybe stable housing or a stable job or even more fruitful family relationships is some of these behavioral health issues that come as a result of and coping mechanisms that you learn from living through these traumatic experiences growing up. So I've been really happy to see a lot of our guests avail themselves of this behavioral health and kind of therapeutic service that's offered by Southwest. It's really just a place to talk and to learn some life skills to help you deal with difficult emotions or difficult situations that you deal with. But that's not just open to people that use our other services. The Southwest Community Health Services in the building, whether they be the medical or the behavioral, are available to the public. A lot of people don't know that, and I think there's this misconception because it's inside the building. But no, anybody can come off the street and say, hey, I'd like like to see somebody at Southwest, and if they're in, we'll take you up to see them, and if they're not, we'll help you make an appointment. It's really for the community, for the neighborhood.
So that's something that's really important because, as I mentioned earlier, the Thomas Merton Center was focusing on the homeless.
Yeah.
And now it's focusing on the whole family.
Amen.
And anyone can come off the streets and receive the services at Southwest Community Health Center, which brings to a point the value of community partnerships. How many organizations would you say that you have servicing in that building?
Oh my goodness. So, so it's interesting, right? Because the majority of the day-to-day services are all under, that Catholic Charities umbrella. Southwest is an independent partner, but we're very fortunate to have a number of other community partners that routinely use our building as a hub to provide services. So today's a great example. We had Hartford Healthcare, so St. Vincent's Hospital, and Southwest Community Health got together and did a Homeless Remembrance Day event here at the center, where they distributed boots and coats and winter hats and gloves and socks and toiletries, and they were doing general health screenings, and things like that happen all the time. But in addition to them, we're very fortunate to count on a lot of other partners that are often in the building. GBAP is another example. Recovery Network is doing a lot of work with us as well. The list goes on of people that come and provide services to our community, and that's a really cool thing too. If you're watching this and you're with a program or a nonprofit or something that works with the marginalized among us and those in need and those kind of struggling, come to us because we're a hub. A lot of people hang out where we are, and we're very visible. As Lourdes said, we're right off of exit 25 on State Street, right by some schools, right across from Shops, which is very popular. And so we get a lot of foot traffic, right? So if you're a local partner trying to serve this community, come and set up shop with us. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to serve the community. It's an opportunity to partner with the community. It's an opportunity for you, the audience, to make a difference. And this is a time of year when everyone seems to be a little bit more generous and happy and wants to make a difference and be kinder. Think about the Thomas Merton Family Center. It is a family center. There are lots of services, and sometimes people aren't even aware of the services that are available. This is an issue that I have confronted people that will come in for different things where I work, and they were totally unaware that we existed. So take advantage, spread the word. Spread the word about Nick, who is, by the way, how long have you been the director?
I've been the director since May of this year, so about 7 months.
So since May of this year. And to the validity of this organization, he was in charge of the food pantry. Now he is the director. Mm-hmm. This is an organization that builds not only in itself, in its own community, but the general community. It also builds up the community within to build the capacity of its people, to make them leaders so that we can be successful. And I say we because I'm going to take a little credit for it as a member of the Thomas Merton Center Advisory Council. So once again, on behalf of Carmen Nieves, who is your host, I do want to thank you for listening to us here at Connecticut at your service. Nick, thank you.
Lourdes, thank you so much for having me.
For the ways that you are providing that service to the Connecticut community. We appreciate you.
Thanks.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.